They say that part of the awakening process is learning to speak your truth. So this video is going to have a few purposes. The first purpose is going to be to speak my truth and to tell you guys what I know and what I've learned, especially in the last 8 months. And most importantly, to ask each and every one of you to please think very carefully, to use your discernment from now on in every aspect of your lives, from people to politics, and from judgments against others to justice for all. The goal of the channel, or my goal, is going to be to provide a place where people from all over the world can start this process of learning everything about who we are, maybe what we've done to each other, and how we can take ourselves to a better place so that we can regain our humanity. My name is Raquel, and I've owned a mobile DJ and a karaoke business now for almost 28 years. Great job. I get paid to party. I've met thousands of amazing people that have become my good friends. And without any of these people, I couldn't possibly be where I am today, because I've been with the very rich to the very poor, if you want to think about it. And I've learned a lot of things that we have in common. And I've also learned that what we have much more in common than we don't, or what we're made to feel or think. When the whole pandemic thing broke out, I was like a lot of you, paying attention to the news and kind of watching what was going on. And I noticed that this was pretty scary, and I needed to pay attention, because to me and in my eyes, something that has not been discussed is that my job is probably the most dangerous job for passing a contagious virus around. If you think about it, I'm on a stage 3 to 4 nights a week at times, or private parties, for 3 to 4 hours, taking a microphone from my mouth, passing it to the singer who's going to do the karaoke song. It comes back to my mouth. It goes to the next singer. 2 microphones if they're doing duets. Those 2 to 3 microphones are shared between 50 to 80 people, depending on how long I'm doing the show and how busy I get. We're in a bar or in a private party surrounding where there's usually alcohol. All of that stuff causes your immunity system, your immunity, to go down. All of these things are basically a recipe for passing any kind of a cold or a flu or a virus of any kind very easily. So I started paying really close attention to what was going on, because in my eyes, I was certain that, God, there were going to be horrible, horrible breakouts, far worse than what we were already seeing happen in Italy and in Europe. Karaoke originated in Japan, and as of today, per square footage, there are more karaoke bars or karaoke restaurants, or restaurants that offer karaoke in Korea, North and South, and the Philippines than in any other place on the planet. I mean, I was in Japan for 3 weeks, and you cannot get 2 doors down without finding karaoke. So I was certain that this whole microphone, person-to-person thing was going to create something that was so bad, it was out of control. It was just going to be so bad. But something happened. It didn't break out the way I thought it was going to break out. Don't get me wrong, it broke out pretty badly, and a lot of people have suffered, and God knows I'm sorry for that, for anyone who has suffered like that. But it didn't break out like I expected it to. Duke, quit it. Sorry, everybody, my dogs are around me. You guys will get used to that over time. When we opened back up in June, just pausing the phone, give me a second. When we opened back up in June here in Texas, I took that really seriously. I took the money of my stimulus check. I spent $300 to $500 on creating what I call a COVID stage so that I could develop some kind of a partition that was attractive and that still worked on a stage so that I could keep as many droplets that were coming out of every singer's mouths, mine, anybody else on stage, from hitting anyone off of the stage. I spent a lot of money on microphone covers and gave away umpteen amounts of them so that each person had their own mic cover. I disinfected my hands. And I'm really happy to say that even though we were closed down again at the end of June, 3 weeks later, 6 weeks later, as I checked the numbers in Gerald, Texas, which is where I do my shows, there wasn't one breakout in Gerald, Texas. Now we're talking about the one and only big bar in Gerald, Texas, right off of the main highway that is literally a block away from 2 huge gas stations that have everything available for truck drivers that drive in from all over the United States. They park their semis, they take showers, they they eat, they do their thing, and they all come over to my bar to relax. So it's not like we were in a little town that was not around other people. We have people from all over the United States coming through this particular place that I work at right now. A few weeks later, nothing. There were no breakouts. I am not here to tell you guys that this virus is not something serious. I'm not here to tell you guys that I don't believe that there's a massive amount of responsibility that we have to take when it comes to taking care of ourselves, protecting ourselves, and protecting others. But there's something not adding up there. Yes, this is a virus, but on what spectrum? Is it the kind of a virus that is like a flu virus, where it can be really nasty, and if you are a senior or you have a pre-existing condition, could it possibly be that, yeah, you're going to potentially suffer and even die from it, like a really bad flu, pneumonia? Or is it something else? Is there something a part of this particular virus that can potentially kill you, but can also not kill you and be blown out of proportion in other ways? I don't have those answers, but I'm telling you all of this because this was the kind of thing that made me start thinking. How in the world could I live in what's known as the music capital of the world, Austin, Texas? How could I be around all of these people? How could all of these other people be singing off the same microphones? And how, first of all, was nobody talking about this? The most I've been able to find, and you guys can look all of this stuff up, is the occasional, study on singing and talking, and when you're in a choir, you could definitely pass it on, but there's no actual proof. You know what? If you're in a choir, if you're in a bar, if you're putting a microphone up to your mouth after somebody else has, and somebody else has, and 10 people have before you, regardless of how much disinfectant there is, if there is an incredibly contagious virus out there, you're going to get it, especially if you're using a microphone. And yet, that didn't happen in my case. So I started looking for answers everywhere. While I was looking for those answers, they led me to other questions. Questions about our country, questions about our planet, about who we are, who the people that we've allowed to be in power are, and what they've done and what they've gotten away with. And when I saw multiple videos on how our mainstream media, reads off the same exact script, then I really got upset. Because the news may be the same, but the script, word for word, why were 3, 10, 20 channels reading the exact same words? Somebody had to have been telling them exactly what to read. So what does that say for journalists? What has happened to journalism these days? And what's happened to the truth? Obviously, we're only getting part of the truth. So in order to get to the truth, you got to go out and look for it, which is what I've been doing for 8 months. In those 8 months, I learned a lot of things. Now, this video is not necessarily a political video. And the channel that I would like to start is not going to be for political purposes. My goal is to start you guys off by asking you to please think. Think before you cast your vote, and please do vote. You have to vote, because the answers that I've found have led me to believe that this is absolutely the most important election in humanity's time. And I feel that way because of the homework and the research that I've done that led me to do this. There's no way that you can possibly know everything unless you go out of your way to look for it. And if you think that all of the answers are on mainstream media, you're wrong. And I don't want anyone to feel as though they're being judged, and nobody has made any incorrect choices because they voted one way or voted another. That is not the purpose of this channel or of what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, please, for God's sake, wake up and start looking for the answers yourselves. Because when you start looking for the answers to the questions that you have, you're going to be informed and you're going to feel better about the choices that you make. And we have to do that now. We have to be responsible. You cannot go through life saying, well, that's just the way the government is, and that's the way it's always been, and that's the way it's always going to be. That's not right. They are the way they are because we put them there. And we can take them down. And by that, hush dog, by that, I mean, we can remove them from office legally and in the correct way. And we have to. We absolutely have to. And all I want to do is provide a place where you guys can leave comments, where you can ask questions. Because if I don't have answers for you, believe me, I know where to send you. In 8 months, I've spent a lot of time researching everything that has to do with this virus, everything that has to do with our world, our country, our governments, all of them, our president, our candidates. And I don't want to tell you what to do. I just want to tell you where to go if I don't have a basic answer for you. If you want my opinion, I'm here to give you my opinion, and I'll be happy to do that. But I'm just like the rest of you guys. I'm more than happy to learn from each and every one of you. So this is just another American citizen who is very proud to be an American, trying to regain some sense of who she is by really going out there and looking for the answers of how she got here, how her ancestors got here, how her government works. I have to be involved if I want to know the truth, and so do you. Each and every one of us does. You cannot complain and you cannot be judgmental over other people if you don't do the work yourself. And if you don't come to the table with an open heart and an open mind. You can't decide that you hate someone because you hate someone. It doesn't work that way. We don't all get along. We don't all have the same personalities, but we all have a desire to have peace and happiness for ourselves, our loved ones, and our lives. And if we all approach the table with those values and those ideas, there is no way that we can't be part of an incredible United States of America, which I believe we are. I guess in closing, I just want to thank Gene Decode, you know who you are, for really making me realize that everything we say and do with intention is part of this amazing timeline that we have an opportunity to create. I want to thank everyone at Spiritually Raw who commented on my original comments and asked me about whether or not I was going to post this. This video goes out to all of the subscribers of Spiritually Raw and all of these guys, because they're just a small portion of all of the amazing people that I've had an opportunity to learn a lot of things from this year. If you're interested, I've got a whole bunch of videos on my channel of people that I've been listening to and learning from, and that I continue to do so. I certainly ask that you like the video, subscribe, share. I don't want you to ever feel like you can't comment and ask a question that's stupid, because believe me, nothing is stupid, especially in this day and age. I think a lot of information is going to come out that some of us are just not going to be ready for. I believe with my whole heart that this year has traumatized us and our children in ways we haven't even begun to realize yet. And I think that many of us need to step up and be there to help each other. Help each other through the trauma. Help our kids. help each other get through this and come out of this the best that we can. I guess that's all I really want to say. I want to thank everybody who's taught me everything that I've learned, and I'm happy to continue to do so, and I want to thank you if you heard it, if you stuck around this long. My goal will be to post one video every 2 to 3 days. Bye. God bless.